We draw 80% of our fibre requirements from the privately owned renewable pine plantations. Talara, east of Gympie, is 80,000 hectares, and Beerburrum 23,000 hectares. These forests were sold by the Queensland State Government in 2010 to the Hancock Timber Group. The age of trees milled is between 25 and 35 years. Our facility achieved Chain of Custody certification for certified wood and forest products in 2009, demonstrating our commitment to sourcing logs from renewable and legal plantations. We employ contractors to harvest the trees, which is 99% mechanised, and logs are delivered to the site cut to required lengths. The harvester operator selects a tree, cuts it off at the base, delimbs the branches, and lays the log down. He then makes the decision on what lengths he can get out of the log. Depending on the diameter and the length, the butt log may go to a plywood mill, the second and third sections to our mill for structural boards, the fourth section to a post producer, and the top may go to the Brisbane wharf to be pulped for export to a paper producer in Asia. The forwarder picks up the log lengths laid out by the harvester in piles appropriate to the end user. Once loaded, the forwarder transports the logs to the side of the road ready for the log trucks. Again, the logs are stacked in piles for different destinations. We also employ contractors to transport our logs to the various destinations. These log trucks have onboard scales to weigh the payload to ensure that it complies with the legal load limits on our public roads and highways. Bolsters and straps hold the logs in place. Log haulage can be up to 200 kilometres away. We have been at this site since 1928, originally as a hardwood mill. Successive owners have increased the capacity of the site so that we can now process 350,000 cubic metres of pine logs per annum. When the log truck enters our site, it is weighed fully loaded. After it is unloaded at the log yard, it is re-weighed before exiting the site. The difference in weight is the payload of log used as the basis to pay the forest owner. The truck driver punches his number into the computerized system to record the load details as we use this data to pay the logging contractors. The logs are debarked for further processing. The bark is also on-sold as a byproduct to bark and landscape suppliers. Our sophisticated Comac optimizing system measures each log to determine the best cutting pattern and what boards we can recover from that log. The log is then batched into a bin, which is allocated a sort number, which relates to the cutting pattern and stored ready for the green process. The batched logs are then presented to the green mill for breakdown. green mill uses quad bandsaw and chipping reducer technology for primary log breakdown, and a gang of circular saws to reduce the resultant cant or flitch into boards. We also have our own saw shop and saw doctors to supply resharpened bandsaws and circular saws to the green mill as required. Our facility is relatively old and maintenance is a key part of our business. Preventative maintenance and planning schedules carried out by professional tradespeople 24/7 helps us keep the process working with minimum downtime. Sideboards or wing boards from the quad bandsaw are then fed through an optimizing scanner and cutting system called the Ulstrom. This minimizes the waste on wider boards. Board size control is continuously monitored real-time using an online laser monitoring system called SizeCheck. It measures each piece for width and thickness. These results provide continuous data which is then used for the statistical analysis to assist in the improvement of fibre recovery, drying quality, moisture content variation, and board stability. Chipped fibre generated in the conversion of round trees to rectangular timber is sold through a third-party company into the paper and pulp market. Sawdust is partly used to generate heat for kiln drying, and the balance is sold off for use in landscape material. The resulting material is then sent through the sorting area where the boards are binned together according to the same thickness, width, length, and density. Two new technologies working in correlation are able to sort the green boards for the approximate structural properties enabling us to hold back low structural boards from further processing and potential loss caused by drying cracks and distortion. Freshly sawn green timber is generally over half by weight in water. Removing most of this water brings the timber's moisture down to a range of 8% to 15%. And as well as reducing the weight, it increases the structural properties of the board. Drying timber is a very specialized process, and forcing water from the fiber cells must be done with minimal cell damage. We have sophisticated high-temperature steam kilns that can reach temperatures of over 140 degrees Celsius. We use dry shavings, sawdust, and docked offcuts as fuel for the boilers that provide the heat and energy to dry the charges of timber racks in the kilns. A reconditioning chamber may be used to reintroduce moisture into the racks if a charge is over-dried. If the housing market is strong, the kilns will run 24 hours, 7 days a week. The dried stacks or fillets then enter the dry mill to be planed and graded into structural grades. Our wood machinists on site are based in the dry mill and service the planers as required. We use laser technology to support our wood machinists in producing a consistent dressed finish in the correct dimensions. The stress grader sorts boards into the different grades according to the structural properties. It then sprays a colour on each piece for the grader to identify. We are required to break a number of test boards per batch to ensure that we comply with the relevant Australian standards. Our products are then wrapped and strapped into finished good packs of the same end section, length and grade. We have a evaluating treatment system that provides our customers with an envelope treatment to prevent a termite infestation in a house frame. Our dispatch team work hard to deliver products on time. And we use subcontractors for all of our deliveries. Our sales and distribution team is based at the Port of Brisbane. Our key account and general salespeople maintain a close relationship with our customers, and they are backed up by the customer services team. 85% of production is sold for house framing predominantly in the Queensland market. Our biggest customers are roof truss and frame manufacturing companies.